Now, the New York Giants are another team that in the first round was in the market for another young quarterback, and they decided to trade up back into the first round late to get Jaxson Dart. And Jaxson Dart, before the draft started a few hours prior, Joe Schoen, the general manager of the Giants, his son posted a highlight clip of Jaxson Dart on his story before he made his page private. So it pretty much gave away who the Giants were going to end up selecting. And this doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. It's not the fact that the Giants drafted Jaxson Dart. It's the fact that you have a general manager and a head coach who their job security past this year is in jeopardy. You don't know if you're going to be around next year to give Jaxson Dart the opportunity to start. So if you were going to trade back into the first round for a player, it would have made more sense to trade back into the first round to get a player that can have an instant impact for you day one. Jaxson Dart isn't going to help Brian Daboll or Joe Schoen save their jobs this year. And plus, you already had 3 quarterbacks on the roster prior to making this move. You had Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, who you signed in free agency on relatively cheap deals. And you recently just extended Tommy DeVito. Now you have 4 quarterbacks on your roster. And you gave up a second and 2 third-round selections, one for next year's draft. So you're giving up really important draft capital that could have been converted into maybe 1 or 2 average or above average level starters for you, which makes the pressure on Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen magnified times 100. Now, if things don't work out for you this year, I don't know what John Mora's expectations are for this team and what he's looking for to keep Brian Daboll and Schoen around for another year. But if they don't win at least 7-8 games, these guys are probably going to get fired before the season even ends, which is why the decision to trade back into the first round for Jaxson Dart made no sense to me. Passing on Shedeur Sanders for Jaxson Dart is one thing, but drafting a quarterback that is not going to touch the field at all during the regular season when your jobs are on the line, it just confuses me. The Giants would have been better served drafting an offensive tackle, adding more talent on defense, and then you just gave up so much capital to do so, trading up with the Houston Texans to 25, where now you're going to be asked out of being able to continue to add impact level rookies that can make things a lot easier for you in terms of being able to be competitive this year. Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston are good enough to keep you afloat, but they're not good enough to help you beat a team like the Washington Commanders with how good Jaden Daniels was in year 1. You can only imagine how good he's going to be in year 2. He could damn near be the best quarterback in the NFL this year. Same thing with Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts may not be viewed as an elite quarterback by most, but the Eagles still have a more talented team overall than what the Giants do. And the Commanders do as well. The Giants still find themselves stuck in a situation where you don't have a lot of talent and you end up making the decision to try to address the future where you might not be there for the future. There's no guarantee Brian Daboll is going to be around next year to coach up Jaxson Dart. You have no security past this year unless you're able to win. Now, unless Schoen and Daboll feel like they've done enough this offseason to where they feel comfortable with where they at or where they're at currently from a talent standpoint, the Jaxson Dart trade, if I had to grade it, I give it a D-. If you're able to survive this season, then I give it a B+ or A-. I have nothing against Jaxson Dart. If you want to take him over Shedeur Sanders, cool. You know, both quarterbacks have their strengths and their weaknesses. Brian Daboll is one of the better offensive minds in the league. So if there was anybody who could help Jaxson Dart become a solid starter in the NFL. It definitely is him based off his track record at developing quarterbacks in the past. There's a lot to like about Jaxson Dart. I think he has a pretty good arm. He's a really good athlete. Coming from that Lane Kiffin system, it's going to take him a year to have to adjust to the NFL, but he could be a pretty decent quarterback. He could be a lot similar to what Jalen Hurts is, but a little bit less athletic. But with your job being on the line, if you don't win this year, this was a wasted pick, and you just lost a lot of meaningful draft capital that you could have used to help you get more instant impact players in this year's draft.